Bergeron Automotive in Metairie, the site where Bergeron Motors has the best in Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, Jeep, Volvo, you name it, they've got it at Bergeron at 3525 Veterans Boulevard in Metairie. That's where we are for this evening's version of Sports NOLA TV. And a pleasant good evening to you. Ken Trahan, as always, great to have you with us on Sports NOLA TV. And, of course, we talk about the Saints, LSU, Tulane Prep, you name it. We're chock full of it with a great panel of guests, which are going to break it down here shortly. As we get started, as always, we focus on the New Orleans Saints. And the Saints taking care of business. The Saints looking for their third consecutive victory on the road at Jacksonville against the Jaguars. The Saints ready outdoors, but it was a beautiful day, so black jerseys weren't a problem with the heat. The problem for the Jags would be the Saints. Sean Payton had a good bunch of plays scripted. Marcus Colston back in action for the Saints. That's always good news for Drew Brees, who immediately goes to the mighty might. Darren Sproles, 19 yards, tackled by DeJuan Landry, the New Orleanian, at the Jacksonville 21 and a first down. The Saints on the move right away, opening possession. They feed the fullback. That's always a nice thing. The guy does hard work all the time blocking. Jed Collins got it across. His first carry as a Saint is a touchdown, and the Saints are on top 7-0. The guy's a great blocker, and he scored here. Blaine Gabbert, the rookie, gets it going early for the Jaguars. He finds Mike Thomas, who breaks loose 47 yards. Great job by Tracy Porter, who's also back to run him down from behind to prevent a touchdown, and that keeps the Jags from scoring. Good job by Porter. And then Brees comes back looking for Robert Meacham. He's got him. Perfect throw in the seam, sideline, caught for 25 yards. One of 4 catches for Meacham on the day. And then Brees at the goal line with a good play fake. Jimmy Graham, guy who's becoming an absolute stud with a touchdown catch. On the replay, Graham gets a free release. Linebacker bites, see you later, no chance. And the Saints are up quickly, 14-0. Looked like it would be easy at that particular point in time. Oh, yes, he was a basketball player at Miami. And what's his elevation there? About 11'2", something of that nature. Gabbert back to pass. Roman Harper is all over him. Harper with his 3.5 sack on the year. That leads the NFL amongst defensive backs. And now Gabbert, given time, able to do some damage. Jarrett Dillard over the middle, brought down by Scott Shanley, who brought him down by the face mask. That's going to cost the Saints 15 more on that particular play. As you get a good look at the face mask there, very good call. And when you hold on to it and twist around, you're going to get 15 rather than 5. And then Gabbert with a touchdown pass. Zach Miller caps a 12-play, 80-yard drive, making it 14-7 Saints. Game on. Miller's pretty happy with himself, and he should be. Saints got pressure throughout on Gabbert. Will Smith, he's back. One of his 2 sacks on the day, and the veteran puts him down. Future Saints Hall of Famer there, no doubt, and Will Smith stopping a drive. But then Brees, rare pick here as Darrell Smith steps in front, and a good job by Brees to get him out of bounds to prevent a touchdown. That would prove to be huge because the Saints defense would hold and force a field goal. Brees chagrined by that. 14-10 at the half. Saints with the lead, accumulating a ton of yardage, but only leading by 4 at the break. Had to be a little bit concerned at that point, but the Saints would take care of business in the second half, largely due to the mighty might. Once again, Darren Sproles. How quick is this guy? Just getting the ball in space. Look at him go. Nice cutback. 2 Jags run right by him. Then he runs away from 1 or 2 more before he goes out of bounds. Sproles with 188 total yards in the game. And then the defense coming through. As you watch Sproles on the replay once again, look at the cutback. 2 white shirts flying by him as he's able to get upfield for that 34-yard gain, not taking a hit as well. The defense great in the second half, does not allow a point. Gabbert intercepted here. Patrick Robinson, his first interception in the NFL. You might want to run forward, Patrick. Not too wise going east and west. Just get down at that point. He does, but he gets it done. It leads to a Casey field goal for the Saints, who led 20-10 as a result. And then Drew Brees finding Jimmy Graham. Look at this beautiful back shoulder throw, middle of the field. Great coverage by Paul Pelosny, but no chance for him to make a play on that throw to Graham, who shows good concentration. And there's the back shoulder, seeing the ball in to the hands, making the catch. Graham, 10 catches, 132 yards, and a touchdown. Will Smith, his second sack of the game. Greg Williams, he's happy. He knows he's got a stud. And then another interception here. Unfortunately, tip pass, got to make that catch. Robert Meacham does not. And DeJuan Landry of New Orleans at Honville High School, who had 11 tackles, comes up with a pick. Saints get it done with 3 fourth down stops in the second half, which leads to the victory. 3 straight fourth downs. The first there, good coverage by Malcolm Jenkins on Mercedes Lewis, and then Jabari Greer. Good coverage on Cecil Shorts getting it done. Look at the tight coverage on each and every one of these plays. And then Jonathan Vilma in space. We know he's good in space, taking care of Maurice Jones-Drew here and not allowing him to make the catch. And it all leads to the Saints winning 23-10 over the Jaguars. A solid road win by 13 points. The Saints over 500 yards of total offense. Missed some opportunities in the red zone. Had a couple of turnovers, but still a 13-point win on the road. And it gives the Saints their third consecutive victory to push them to 3-1 on the year. And they're in great shape going into Carolina next week. We'll take a time out here. When we return here at Bergeron Automotive, we'll be joined by our guest panelists, and you won't want to miss them as we continue with more of sportsNOLAtv.
Where are we going today?
There's a family name in this business that means something. Bergeron. Ask your friends in Metairie, the North Shore, or on the West Bank. Then stop in and drive out in a new Dodge Challenger with $5,000 in savings. $5,000. New Durango, 0 down and $299 a month. Only $299. Listen up, Ford and Chevy owners. There's still time to save $11,000 on a new Ram. So whether you call us Bergeron or Bergeron, we'll call you family. Bergeron Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. Past Lakeside Mall on Veterans Memorial in Metairie.
If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, call now for a new pain-free meter. These new meters are more accurate, they're easier to use, and the best news is you don't have to prick your fingers anymore. Call now and Arriva Medical will send you one of these new meters for free. And if you have Medicare, your testing supplies may also be covered. Arriva makes it simple. They bill Medicare directly. There are no upfront costs. And they deliver your supplies right to your door for free. With these new meters, there's no coding, you don't have to prick your fingers, and some of these meters even talk.
Your blood glucose reading is 122.
Call 1-800-764-1178 and we'll send you a free Betty Crocker Diabetes Cookbook filled with delicious recipes.
Call Arriva today. You'd be glad you did.
Interesting stat. First time the Saints over 500 yards in quite some time. That surprises me given the stature of their offense and how productive they have been over the past 3 years. Ken Trahan with you, sportsNOLAtv, live from Bergeron Motors, 3525 Veterans in Metairie. Thanks to Dennis Bergeron and his crew for having us here. And of course, as always, we have a great panel of guests here today. Per usual, my good and great friend, former New Orleans Saint wide receiver Torrance Small. Always good to have Torrance with us.
Good evening.
Good evening to you as well. And of course, the man himself, the one and only from sportsNOLA.com, Brian Alley Walsh. Brian, great to have you with us. Yeah, get those guns out. And he'll be firing away pretty soon, too, I might add. And our special guest here today, and I do mean special, the most celebrated player in the history of the New Orleans Saints. He was an absolute terror, playing for the Saints after being drafted in 1981 and playing here for 13 seasons and playing at a level unsurpassed of any Saint in New Orleans Saints history. Inducted into the Saints Hall of Fame for his tremendous play here in 1997. He's in the Greater New Orleans Sports Hall of Fame. He's in the NFL Hall of Fame as of 2010. Chuck Long didn't like him very much after this play in the Silverdome, and Tom Benson liked him a lot as well. He should have. The one and only, the city champ, number 57, Ricky Jackson. Ricky, good to have you with us. Yeah, I feel like a crescendo of applause right now. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. Praise the Lord for Ricky Jackson. Good to have you with us, buddy.
Appreciate it being here. Got my old friend here, too.
Yeah, and the operative word is old, I might add. So let's start with
Methuselah here, right?
Yeah, Methuselah. There you go. Let's start with yesterday's game and a solid 13-point win, Torrance. Obviously, I'd call this a workmanlike performance. Obviously, not a thing of beauty. Started off great. Looked like the Saints would not be stopped. But ultimately, once the offense, kind of petered out a little bit, the defense stepped up, and that's what you want to see in a good team.
Well, when you measuring a good team, you measure them not against other great teams, but also teams that are lacking in talent. And one thing that the Saints did, they went out and they showed that they could play a full game, not depending on one side of the ball. All teams played great, special teams, offense and defense. Defensive backs came up big in this game, and I thought they did great.
Ricky, the Saints defense gashed a little bit in the first half, but Greg Williams made some adjustments. They were facing a rookie quarterback, and they gave up nothing in the second half.
Well, I mean, the quarterback didn't throw the ball well, so that really helped the Saints out. I mean, he was off target all day, so the Saints had a chance to have a lot of rest and breaks because he didn't throw the ball well. So that was the key to the defense. They didn't have an accurate quarterback.
Brian, the one thing I liked about this from an offensive perspective, the Saints ran the ball well. I wish they'd have run it more late in the game when the clock was at least in a position where you could run it. At the same time, this was a game they won with Drew Brees not having one of those lights-out type of games.
Yeah, I think they dedicated this game to the defensive wizard here,
Yeah,
they did play well on defense. And you're right. You wanted to see them be able to run the football out in that 4-minute offense when they can just grind it out and take everything out of the game, and they weren't able to do that. But overall, I think you hit the nail on the head, Kenny, taking care of business. They went out on the road, won by 13, and now they get ready for Carolina this coming week.
On the other hand, one of the things you have to like about Sean Payton, and I certainly do, is the guy always plays to win and doesn't play to lose. He's always going to take shots regardless. Now, sometimes maybe it's not the best advised prescription for the time on the clock and the game situation. But Ricky, at the same time, I know you're a fan of Coach Payton and you have a very good relationship with him. That's one of the things I really like about him. That's a lot different about the team that you played for with the Saints in the 80s and 90s.
Oh, I'll tell you what, he got a great tight end, man. And anytime you can get a young boy to have that kind of fire and enthusiasm, I mean, it just makes it all the better for the coach. He can get him the ball in all kind of ways, and you see that, and it really opened the offense up.
Marcus Colston returned yesterday, targeted a couple of times. He caught one ball. Bottom line is he didn't have to play the whole game. It's nice to have another weapon back. Devery Henderson went without a catch for the first time, but the bottom line is, again, this is the sign of a good team. They have a lot of toys in the toy box to play with, and they use them accordingly.
And that's the genius behind Sean Payton. Everybody in this offense get an opportunity to play. Everybody gets to show their talent. You don't get to show it enough where you can go out and make the big bucks and all, but if you are a guy that is satisfied with playing and winning, this is the team for you. You will get your opportunity. He will use your talent. It just won't be all the time.
Brian, one of the things that's clearly evident at this point is that the acquisition of Darren Sproles was a stroke of genius. He is clearly an upgrade from where they've been. And that's not a disrespectful comment with regard to Reggie Bush, who was a good player here. It's simply a statement of fact. He does the things Bush did in some capacities as well, and of course in other capacities much better, such as running the football.
Yeah, I think he has like 716 all-purpose yards through 4 games. And I wrote for our website, sportsNOLAtv, is that really, arguably, you could make a great case that Darren is the premier pickup from a free agent standpoint through the first 4 games. Name me a player better that's contributed in the first quarter of the season than Darren Sproles. Darren just gives you everything, from a return standpoint, running the ball out of the backfield, Ricky and T, catching the ball, and he's always running positively, and again, you make the comparison all the time because of the guy that was just here, Reggie Bush. This is not a shot against Reggie. Reggie is Reggie, and Darren Sproles is a guy that gives you positive yardage all the time.
Ricky, what about linebacker play? And that's one of the areas of the Saints that people have criticized and don't feel like has been good enough. They've run a lot of guys in and out. The younger guys, of course, Casillas and Dunbar have athletic ability. Herring was out yesterday. Shanley, of course, is Shanley. Vilma's Vilma. How do you see this linebacking core?
Well, I think they're doing what Coach Williams wanted them to do. I mean, the way he designed the defense is not for the linebacker to always be the superstar. So I think those guys playing their role pretty well, and I think, Coach pleased with them.
Torrance, you see Patrick Robinson getting his first NFL interception yesterday. You see Tracy Porter running down a guy and saving a touchdown. They're starting to get their parts back piece by piece, other than the 2 offensive linemen. And when they have all their parts in place, this is a good football team.
Yeah, I think the defensive backs this game probably were the best of the group, the defensive group. I think the defensive backs were strong this game, although like Ricky said, the young guy, he wasn't accurate, but those guys were on their man, they were tight. We had a lot of breakups. I think Jabari Grip probably had 3 or 4 breakups himself, which was great. And I think the young guy getting his first interception, I think he'll have more as the season go on, as they get more familiar with Greg's scheme and all as a total defense, because I still think we missed the off season, and now we're able to get the defense to start to grow and start to put a couple of games together, string of games together, and I think we'll look forward to a lot more interceptions.
Brian, the kicking game overall, pretty impressive for the Saints. Thomas Morstead kicking off well. His punts, when he has to punt, which isn't very frequent, are good. The returns by Sproles, excellent. But most importantly, the kick coverage is substantially better this year, at least to this point. One reason is Isa Abdul Qudus. He's really been good.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah.
Mr. Q, I think we call him.
Yeah, there you go.
No, you're right, though. Thomas Morstead, and we've said this numerous occasions on this show, is that Thomas is such a weapon. You know, from both kick and kickoff and punting. Again, I think Greg McMahon has done a good job trying to rebuild this whole unit, and they've done a very good job. The one thing I will say is John Casey. We need to mention him. Now, he did miss a couple field goals yesterday, and you know, you don't want that. In a game like this, it didn't hurt him, but in future, you don't want that.
Maybe you shouldn't have tried one of them, though.
Yeah, that's probably correct.
You don't want to give the opponent the ball at the 43-yard line.
Yeah, right. So
a 50-yard plus field goal outdoors.
Yeah, and so it makes you wonder. You know, it does make you wonder. They've lost Garrett Hartley for the season, and John's the guy. John's going to have to be the guy. And he's an experienced guy. He gets to go back and play against his old Panthers this weekend.
Ricky, I mentioned Will Smith being back and that he should be a Saints Hall of Famer whenever he retires. You agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, you know, I like Will. I think that he, you know, bring a lot to the team. You know, he's a great leader. And one thing about it, every week he come to play and he's going to get out to the quarterback. And, you know, he demand those other guys to pick up their level of playing. So I think that, you know, he do a great job.
Torrance, a good win outdoors. Just a game to build on.
A game to build on. I think they did great. We executed on all phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. And I just look forward to getting to Carolina and see what we can do with them.
When we return in just a moment, we'll take a trip around the NFL. We'll look at all the results of the games this past weekend. We'll talk about the NFC South, how it stacks up, and how the Saints rate moving forward as well. Live from Bergeron Motors. We're on Veterans Boulevard 3525. And we invite you to come by to Bergeron and check out some of the great deals that they have on some awesome vehicles, courtesy of Dennis Bergeron and Company. Back in just a moment to take that trip around the NFL as Sports NOLA TV continues.
Tired of dentures that don't fit properly? Our implants change everything. Your implant dentures will literally snap into place, so you can take a bite out of life again. Louisiana Dental Center. We'll see you today.
There's a family name in this business that means something. Bergeron. Ask your friends in Metairie, the North Shore, or on the West Bank. Then ask about a new Jeep Wrangler for $199 a month. Drive home a new Jeep Compass, 0 down at $269 per month. Or save $5,000 on a new Jeep Grand Cherokee, $5,000 off. So whether you call us Bergeron or Bergeron, we'll call you family. Bergeron Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. Past Lakeside Mall on Veterans Memorial in Metairie.
St. Bernard Parish is a very special place full of very special people. We just don't know what it's like to give up or quit. And most of us are willing to make personal sacrifices for the betterment of others.
I'm Floyd Landry. My son Wayne really cares about the people of St. Bernard Parish.
Thanks, Dad. That's why I believe public servants should serve the public and not themselves.
For campaign info, go to Cox Channel 2626.
Are you tired of feeling tired? Well, let me introduce you to Mineral Concentrate, a brand new exclusive product from Making Healthy Choices. This trace mineral formula enriched with fulvic acid will give you the spark that you need to sail through your day. However, it's not available in stores and can only be purchased by calling 800-965-2345. If you call now, a 90-day supply is yours for just $29.95, and we'll pay the shipping. So call now, because a better tomorrow starts right now.
Graham had career highs in receptions with 10 and in receiving yards with 132 in Sunday's win at Jacksonville. Now you need to tell us today's sportsNOLAtv trivia question. Who was the last Saint to have at least 10 catches and 130 receiving yards in one game? Think about it. We'll come back with the answer in just a bit and see if you're smart, because I know that everybody here on this panel is smart except for the guy on the far side. That's a different story. But these two gentlemen here, unbelievably smart, okay? They know the answer. I can assure you of that already. Well, let's take a look around the NFC South. Of course, the Saints are in pretty good shape through 4 weeks of play at 3-1. Tampa Bay with the Monday night game, of course, tonight. And they have a great chance to be 3-1 with the lowly Colts in Tampa. Atlanta survived a trip to Seattle by 2. Carolina, an impressive 1-3. They've been very competitive overall. Bottom line is, again, this is a good division that figures to have 3 teams that probably will exceed 500 on the year, much like a year ago. Brian, this is a pretty good division. The Falcons maybe not playing the way a lot of people thought they would play, but Julio Jones has been playing very well.
What do you have, 11 catches?
Yeah, 11 catches.
11 catches, yeah. No, a breakout game for him, absolutely. You know, Kenny, we've said all along, Saints are the cream of this division.
Yeah.
And Atlanta's showing that maybe they're not the team that we all thought they may have been entering the preseason, coming into the regular season. But no, I mean, the Saints are it.
Ricky, the Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton, for a rookie, has been very impressive thus far.
I mean, what impressed me about him the most is going downfield with the ball and, you know, picking up the blitz well. So, and his arm strength been, you know, I mean, way more than what I thought it would be.
Torrance, is it possible that Tampa Bay is the team the Saints are going to have to beat to win this division?
Don't know. Young team. They come off a real high season last year. The coach there, he said he likes his guys young and hungry. They're the youngest team in the NFL. He likes them young and hungry. He called them youngery.
Yeah. Youngery. Good word. It's a new word.
So we'll see what they do tonight.
All right. Let's take a look at NFL scores from around the league this past Sunday. And Brian, as you look at some of those scores, you see Buffalo losing for the first time. You see Houston with a gut check win, I think. Shows you how good they are with Andre Johnson going down. Dallas absolutely blowing one as the Lions stay unbeaten. What sticks out in your mind when you look at some of these scores?
I'll tell you what, there's a couple of comeback wins that have been comebacks for the ages. Detroit and Dallas being one of them. San Francisco and Philadelphia being another one. These are teams that blew 20-point leads and lost at home in both occasions. So those games stick out to me. And then New England beating Oakland on the West Coast. That was a big win for the Patriots.
Ricky, it seems to me that Green Bay and New England, even though New England lost to Buffalo, still look like the teams to beat in their respective conferences.
I mean, right now, you know, they 1-2, you know, in the NFL, and I got the Saints as 3. But, you know, those are teams that got a high, powerful offense and a good defense to go along with them. So, you know, that's the difference. A lot of teams got one aspect of the game, but don't have all 3. And those 2 teams seem like they have all 3.
Calvin Johnson, you're a wide receiver. This guy's been a beast. I mean, they're just throwing him the ball against 2-man coverage, 3-man coverage, 1-man coverage that's tight. He just goes up and gets it every time. He's putting up any machine numbers right now.
And I'm waiting on my check from Calvin Johnson. I was the one that trained Calvin Johnson. He was coming out of college. He worked out with us down there with Tom Shaw. I spent many days and many months working with this young guy. I knew it for a while back, months and months before he entered the NFL, what kind of guy this guy was going to be, but nobody would hear me because he was in Detroit. Now he has the opportunity to show what he's really capable of doing. I'm proud of him. I'm happy that I had the opportunity to work with him.
You know, Kenny, let me just say something to you. You never said that Calvin owed you money last year. Why all of a sudden now?
Because the money is about to start rolling.
I see. Okay. All right. All of a sudden, you adopted as your own.
But I did have the opportunity of training this young guy, getting him prepped for the NFL.
Tom Shaw had nothing to do with it.
Tom Shaw worked with speed. I worked with route.
I got you. All right.
And it was good to see Joe McKnight of John Curtis return a kickoff for a touchdown for the Jets. and Ladarius Webb of Nickel State, who had a big interception return for a touchdown for the Ravens in that matchup that Baltimore won. And the Jets are not all that. I don't hear them boasting so much, at least not right now. It's time now for our fan segment, where we have fans that step forward and they're able to ask a question of our panelists, who will give them a great answer, I am quite sure. Time for our first question. State your name and ask our question of our panelists here.
Hello, I'm Aretha, and I'm from Metairie, Louisiana. And my question is, right now, the Saints' total defense is number 2 in the NFL, and the defense is 15 total in the NFL. Do you think the defense can really pull up these rankings right now?
Ricky?
Yeah, they got a great chance of pulling them up. I mean, you know, Coach William, he just getting it together. You know, they didn't have a big off season, so a lot of things haven't been implemented into the system yet. So I think, you know, give him a couple more weeks and he'll start getting everything rolling.
Torrance?
Yes, things are building up. As we see over the last few games, the Saints defense is improving. They're starting to get it. Guys are in position where they're supposed to be. We don't have a lot of miscommunication out there. Guys are making plays. I think we still need to work a little bit more on our blitz packages. I think some of the guys are not fundamental when we're blitzing, but I'm pretty sure we'll pick that up also.
Well, I wouldn't get too caught up in the numbers. I think the numbers can be misleading sometimes and don't really tell a true picture of how good a defense is. The year that they won the Super Bowl, they weren't that good from a ranking standpoint, and last year they were better. So, you know, I wouldn't get caught up in the numbers. It's the key stops.
No. If they finish middle of the pack defensive numbers, they got a chance to win it all. State your name. Next question.
Hey guys, I'm Joe. I go to school down here. I have an LSU question for you guys. I noticed in the last game we got some boos when Jordan came into the game.
Yeah.
And there's obviously some chemistry issues from the fan standpoint. So I'm wondering if, on a possible national championship season, Les Miles is doing the right thing by bringing him back.
Well, it's a great question. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to answer it right after the next break, because that's our hot seat question. But I'll tell you right now that I do think Jordan Jefferson not only has a place on this team, but that he's going to play an important role down the stretch. But I guarantee you we're going to give you a definitive answer on that coming up in a couple of minutes. Good question. Thank you. We really appreciate it, because we're going to get into that.
Can I say something to Joe's question?
Sure.
I didn't know booze. Is that B-O-O-Z-E or B-O-O-S?
Yeah,
I'm not sure what that in Tiger Stadium. Okay, I just want to make sure.
All right, state your name and fire away.
My name's Nita. I'm from Mobile, Alabama.
Hey, Nita.
And I'm a huge Alabama fan.
There you go.
So I got to know, how do you think that LSU is going to stack up against Alabama this year?
Brian?
I'll tell you what, I like LSU on the road, and I would say that with confidence because of what they've done in the first 3 games, 2 on the road and 1 neutral site. So it should be a whale of a game. It should be a 1 playing a 2 by the time they play on November the 2nd, but I like the Tigers in Tuscaloosa.
Ricky?
Well, I mean, that was a great ball game. You know, I like LSU, but Alabama got a great team. They showed you that against Florida, so you can't go to sleep on Alabama.
Torrance?
Well, I think the guys are looking in the mirror. I think they're looking at each other. If you look at these 2 teams, they're defensive teams. They're not giving up much on defense, and their offense is improving, but not where they want to be, but they're improving as the year goes on. I think it'll be a great match.
I just wonder if anyone's going to score when they play each other. These defenses are so good. Quentin Richardson's a terrific running back. McCarron's improving. Alabama's defense extremely physical. LSU's defense is physical too, but I'm more impressed with their speed than anything else. I just think it's a delicious matchup. Interesting coaches, obviously. The game's at Tuscaloosa, maybe a slight edge to Alabama because of that in this particular instance, but clearly it's going to be a terrific game, and obviously the game of the year in college football. It's sportsNOLAtv. We're live at Bergeron Motors, 3525 Veterans in Metairie, where you can get them all. Volvos, Jeeps, Chrysler, you name it, they've got it here. You want to be here at Bergeron. Thanks to Dennis Bergeron for having us here today. We'll take a time out here. When we return, hey, you won't want to miss it. Walsh is going to be on the hot seat. He's roasting already as sportsNOLAtv continues.
Dogs all across America are now begging to go for a walk because now there's the amazing Mesh Comfy Control harness that puts a smile on their face. Unlike collars that apply inhumane pressure to your pet's neck that's really agonizing and may cause injury as your pet pulls even harder, the Comfy Control harness sends control signals to the chest and body, does not hurt the neck. So now you and your dog can both enjoy a comfortable walk, and it's available for dogs of every size. Get the Comfy Control harness with matching 5-foot leash, starting at only $10.99. $10.99. And as a bonus, we'll double the offer. Plus, you'll also receive the Crazy Critter, the stuffing-free toy. Just pay separate processing. You'll get 2 comfy control harnesses with matching 5-foot leashes and a Crazy Critter, an incredible $50 value, all for only $10.99. Call right now and find out about free shipping.
Call 1-800-426-0519 to get your comfy control harness and free leash. Today's orders also get a second set and the Crazy Critter. So call 1-800-426-0519. That's 1-800-426-0519.
Wondering what everyone's talking about? It's mineral concentrate for making healthy choices, a brand new exclusive product that can't be found in any store. Only by calling 1-800-965-2345 or by visiting mhclife.com. And get this, a 90-day supply is only $29.95, and for a limited time only, we'll pay to have it shipped to you.
I never thought I would feel as good as I do. It's going to give you energy like you haven't had in years.
I found it very easy to use. There's no pills to swallow.
I wake up and I have more energy throughout the entire day.
I feel great. I'm not getting tired halfway through the day.
I feel younger.
It's absolutely wonderful. It's easy to use, and the benefits are phenomenal.
It's unbelievable.
So call or click right now to try it for yourself. Mineral concentrate is only $29.95, and if you call now, shipping is absolutely free. So call now, because a better tomorrow starts today.
Jimmy Graham with career highs in receptions and receiving yards in the Saints win over the Jags. All right, who was the last Saint to have at least 10 catches and 130 receiving yards in one game? Marcus Colston, who just returned. And there you have it, 10 catches, 159 yards. And guess what? Happened against the Jaguars in the Superdome. Sammy Knight was in that secondary for the Jaguars. He will be inducted into the Saints Hall of Fame this year, much like Ricky Jackson was back in 1997. Ken Trahan with you, sportsNOLAtv from Bergeron Motors on Veterans Boulevard in Metairie, corner of North Arnold, with every possible deal you can imagine. They'll treat you well. I bought my car here. You want to do the same. It's time for our most enjoyable segment of the week, because we get a chance to put Brian Alley Walsh on the hot seat. It's so hot, in fact, that his beard gets whiter every week from the white hot heat. And today, our topic surrounds LSU rather than the Saints, and Jordan Jefferson back on the field, and fans in the stands, and who should be playing and why, and who should be cheering and who should be booing. It's all yours, Brian. You're on the hot seat.
You know what? You could take. There's so many dynamics with the topic that we're about to address right here. But 4th and 1, they're facing a must situation here at the 1 yard line of Kentucky. Les Miles pulls Jared Lee and inserts Jordan Jefferson. Now, Jordan Jefferson, as everybody remembers, was reinstated late Thursday after being indicted on a misdemeanor charge of battery. Cleared to play. Had practiced on Friday only, and now we're Saturday, 4th and 1, and he inserts Jared Lee. And I might add, when he stepped on the field, there were a number of boos. I mean, it was a chorus of boos from the sellout crowd. It's hard to put a number on exactly who was booing, but let's just say, for the argument's sake, it was several thousand. My bone of contention is this: is if you're going to boo the player is one thing, all right? But if you're going to, why are you booing the player? The player is just coming on the field, doing something that the coach has asked him to do. Now, if fans are booing Jordan Jefferson because of the incident off the field, if they think that he's going to be a distraction for the team, that's another thing altogether. I'm against college booing altogether, to be perfectly honest with you. Professional, I booed Ricky all the time. Yeah. I booed Torrance Small all the time. But I just don't, I can't find reason why college fans would boo kids. When I say kids, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds. I don't understand that. And I know my panel's going to take maybe disagreement with on that, but I just don't think there's any reason to do that.
Let's look at this. People pay to come watch a game, and people do have rights. But let's go back to Jordan Jefferson. One, he made the mistake. He made a choice. Guys, he made that choice. Choices that you make today determine what choices are available to you tomorrow. Meaning, what happens to you tomorrow, he can get booed for something that he did in the past. Now, with that being said, it's okay for them to do that. But we know in sports, fans are forgiven when you make plays. You go out and you make plays and you turn the tide. And I think once he gets his opportunity, he's able to get back on the field and he go out there and he performs and he does well, Jordan Jefferson will be forgiven, will be let back in, will be cheered and everything else. But as of now, you know, I'm pretty sure they're going to boo him. He made a mistake. And not only did he let his teammates down, he let the fans down as well.
Ricky, you eat quarterbacks for a living, so you don't like quarterbacks anyway. But what is your take on this situation?
Well, man, they got a good quarterback league. I mean, since he's been in trouble, he's not been able to be there. A lot of people done jumped on the new quarterback bandwagon, and I think he's doing a great job, phenomenal job. But the whole thing about it is, league got to come in when the coach bring him in, and as far as the booing and stuff, you know, you look for people to do all that kind of stuff. You don't worry about that kind of stuff. As long as he can get in there and play sometime, you know, and that's the whole thing. Coach gonna wean him along and bring him on whenever he feel like it, and that's the way it should happen.
Is that, so what are you saying?
Well,
what side are you saying?
I'm saying that whatever coach decide to do with him, that's the best thing.
So you siding with me on this
one?
Well,
I'm siding that you should be able to play, you know, once they done won the game or once coach feel like that they want to change things up for a series or two, you can always bring him in. But he got his starting quarterback.
Yeah, it's going to take time. Lee should be the starting quarterback.
All right, I got a question for you.
What's your question?
All right, here's a question. Now, I'm going to take it to the next level.
All right.
I won
I've got something to say,
boo part
but go
of
ahead.
the argument.
How did you?
You haven't won it yet. I haven't spoken yet, but go ahead.
All right, let's just say that he fumbles on that snap play. Fourth down, you snap. You fumble that ball. My goodness, you've got
Well, that's why Coach put him in, because the game he know that they were going to win the game.
Exactly.
It wasn't a whole lot of meaning.
Exactly.
So even if they fumble the ball right there, LSU still going to win the ball game.
Well, but you put this kid, you put Jordan Jefferson in an unfavorable light.
No, I mean,
no, come on, let's be honest here.
He thrives in that situation.
Why does he have to be in there first off? And now we're moving.
That's the coach.
Wait a minute.
I don't like the booing.
Now you're bringing up five different things. Look,
that's the coach's decision.
Exactly, it is a coach's decision.
I agree with that,
and it's a game they're going to win regardless. And if the guy's back on the team, he's going to be on the field at some point. It should be in a game which they're going to win. Therefore, this was the perfect situation. Maybe not at the end of that drive. I think a lot of fans were not booing Jordan Jefferson. They were booing Les Miles because they wanted to see Lee finish the drive that he had richly deserved to finish.
Kenny,
because this happened last time.
I'll agree with that.
Many times on last year's team, it happened, and the same thing happened. Fans booed then because they weren't booing Jefferson. They were booing the coach for taking Lee out.
I think the ambiguity of the booing.
Okay, I think so.
Yeah, I
think so.
definitely
and
think
as far as booing is concerned, I do not like, I'm on record as saying I do not like fans booing amateur athletes either.
I don't either.
At the same time, they have every right to do so. They have paid the money, and I have no problem with fans doing what they did. I don't like it personally, but that's their prerogative, and I'm not going to take issue with them, so I do disagree with you from that perspective.
Yeah.
Ricky,
one thing Coach do, too, is he show you who the boss. So, I mean, everybody come there. Les Miles is the boss, so he make the decision. So you either like him or don't like him. They have booed him before. And I mean, he have made some bad decisions and stuff, and people wanted his head. So, I mean, he understand that. So you can't give in to the fans. You got to do what you think best for the team.
And maybe they should have been booing the receivers who dropped, what, 6 or 7 passes of Jaron Lee's in that game?
And that's true, but, you know, this should be a lesson for all the young men. You know, make smart choices. You make smart choices, then we wouldn't be having this discussion right now. So hopefully you young guys out there watching this, and you won't put yourself in this situation where we're sitting up here discussing if somebody should be booing you or not.
And put a bow on it, instigator.
And hopefully those fans that were booing Jordan Jefferson will put it beside them and forgive this young man for a mistake he made. Simple.
Hey, and another thing, Brian needs, what he needs to realize too.
Lord!
You got a lot of more kids coming out next year that LSU trying to recruit.
Hey,
so you got to make
Jordan
sure that
Jefferson's brother was on the sideline.
He was, and he's a heck of a player too.
He's a great one. What's he thinking right now, Ricky?
But that's why you want those guys to go to LSU. So you got to make sure that you treat the situation right.
Always a layered situation when it comes to how players are treated. There's always some residual effect down the road, but fans have every right to do what they're doing in these situations. Speaking of LSU, when we return, we're going to take a look at the Tigers' resounding win over Kentucky. We'll touch on Tulane and their plight at this particular stage. We'll have our Prep Player of the Week and our profile school for this week in high school football, the St. Martin Saints, who are undefeated right now. All of that coming up. We're at Bergeron, 3525 Veterans Boulevard in Metairie. Dennis Bergeron and his outstanding crew with great deals for you. You need to come by and check it out like my family did, and I know you'll be appreciative. All of that and more. That's a mouthful when Sports NOLA TV continues.
Toothache.
Gingivitis.
Plaque.
Cavity.
Tartar.
Tooth decay.
Gum disease.
Abscess tooth.
What's that?
A filling, not a crown.
A bridge?
You mean I need a root canal?
Come on, man.
The only thing worse than hearing those words is hearing that your dentist can't see you today. Call Louisiana Dental Center, home of the same-day appointment.
There's a family name in this business that means something. Bergeron. Ask your friends in Metairie, the North Shore, or on the West Bank. Then stop in and try it out in a new Dodge Challenger with $5,000 in savings. $5,000. New Durango, 0 down and $299 a month. Only $299. Listen up, Ford and Chevy owners. There's still time to save $11,000 on a new Ram. So whether you call us Bergeron or Bergeron, we'll call you family. Bergeron Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. Past Lakeside Mall on Veterans Memorial in Metairie.
Jimmy Pullman came to Chicago and took my grandmother against her will.
Their motivation was to steal the Miro fortune, and they didn't care who got hurt in the meantime.
I had realized that was the last time I was ever going to see my grandmother.
Jimmy Pullman took my mother against her will. Do you want him to be your sheriff?
For a real change, Wayne Landry, Sheriff.
It's lunchtime here in Bluefield, Nicaragua. Every child, every day in action. Kids have come from all over the neighborhood. They brought their bowls, they brought a glass. They're getting a nutritious meal because of every child, every day. You can be a part of it. You can help us literally double the number of kids that are being fed right now somewhere in the world. And we can't do it without partners. So partner with Feed the Hungry today as we feed hungry kids all over the world. Go to the phone right now and call. Change a life for the kids somewhere in the world today.
That site on the web, sportsNOLA.com. You won't find better information anywhere or a better look. And of course, always Saints, always NFL, always LSU, always Tulane, always prep. Nothing like the prep coverage you'll find at sportsNOLA.com. Our prep segment coming up in just a moment. I'm sure you're going to enjoy hearing all about those elements as well. Ken Trahan with you from Bergeron Motors at 3525 Veterans in Metairie, with every entity you could possibly want here. You name it, they've got it. Well, you got Chrysler, you got Dodge, you got Ram, you got Jeep, you got Volvo, you got it all. What a choice at Bergeron. The LSU Tigers are presenting the voters with quite a choice with superior play. The Tigers ranked #1 in the country in the AP poll once again this week. LSU is #1. And they have a slight edge over Alabama in the Associated Press poll this week. The Tigers with a convincing win over Kentucky. And Brian, this was a no-brainer. Their defense was absolutely stifling.
Absolutely, and you know, one of the broadcasters brought up an interesting topic, Kenny. It's something we should consider on our panel here. Is that Tyrann Mathieu? Is he a Heisman Trophy candidate?
I think he is, Ricky.
I do too.
This kid's making touchdowns every game, and he's a defensive player.
And I tell you what, man, he know where to ball at it all the time, and that's what I like about him. He's a ball hawk. And anytime you can get a defensive player who can get turnovers, man, that's great.
And score, Ricky.
Right.
And score.
And it's great for the offense, too, great for the team.
How about this play, Torrance? Odell Beckham, true freshman out of Newman, special play.
Yeah, young guys making a lot of big plays. They've been talking a lot about him, and it's good reason why they're talking about it. This guy's making a lot of big plays, and I look more from him in the upcoming years.
Well, again, the defense just all over. It was like a jailbreak against Kentucky throughout. Tyrann Mathieu, just special with what he's been able to do so far this year. The guy has a motor that's unbelievable. He has great speed and quickness, tremendous ball skills, and as I mentioned, when I saw him in high school his senior year, he was the best player in the state of Louisiana. Tulane's play not nearly as pleasing as the Wave got wiped out at Army. And Torrance, obviously, this is very disappointing. This is a struggle across the board, offensively and defensively.
Yes. Right now, you have Syracuse coming into town. Yeah. It's not going to get any easier for these guys. I know they're trying to hit that magic number. What's the magic number we said?
Seven.
We said they need 7 to get a bowl game, and where they got to start putting together in order to reach that magic number.
Ricky, it's tough for Tulane. We all pull for them being a hometown team.
Well, what they're going to have to do is get somebody who can recruit local. I mean, you got a lot of great athletes in Louisiana, and Tulane is just missing all the great athletes. So they're just going to have to get somebody who can get some of these young guys to stay right here in the city.
Ryan?
Ricky, you know anybody that's going to replace Bob Toledo?
Well, I mean, I'm not giving Coach job away yet. It might turn everything around. And so
certainly sounded like you were.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, but I mean,
did it?
What we trying to
put him on the hot seat?
What I'm trying to say is all about recruiting. Exactly. They got to get a lot of these local guys to stay. They got too many great athletes going to other schools.
Exactly. How many wins do you think Tulane has?
He's actually recruited better. Year after year, he's gotten better. Yeah. It's more about administrative support, guys. Regardless of who the coach is.
It won't necessarily translate into wins. That's the thing.
I'm with you.
How many wins do you think he's got? He's going to have this year. He's not getting 7. Let's be honest.
Well, I mean, he done missed 2 or 3 that everybody thought that he would get.
You know, it's amazing what a big difference 2 weeks makes. Here we were, they were coming off a huge win off UAB. And we're going, man, they got a shot. Now they're 2-3, and you go, I don't think so.
All right. You want good players?
Yeah.
You want to recruit our Prep Player of the Week? And because each and every week, our Prep Player of the Week for sportsNOLAtv is a guy that clearly has a chance to play at the next level. And our Prep Player of the Week for week number 5 is a sophomore. Boy, he's a talented athlete. Aspen Gaines. Aspen Gaines, quarterback at Bell Chase. What a game he had against Vanderbilt Catholic. 254 yards, 13 of 21, 2 touchdowns passing, and he rushed for 131 yards, 22 carries, and 3 more touchdowns as they put up 53 points against a good program and a good team. That's what I'm talking about. Kids like this that can get it done. He plays for Bob Beckno, who, by the way, played at Tulane a few moons ago and was a good player. So Aspen Gaines, a player that Tulane and many others should keep their eye on because he's just a sophomore and he's a very good player. Speaking of very good players and good teams, one team that's been very surprising this year, they've gone unbeaten at the halfway mark of the season and realistically have a chance to go unbeaten the rest of the season, residing in Metairie. The St. Martin Saints of Coach Frank Cazzo. sportsNOLATV's Jude Young of sportsNOLA.com profiles the St. Martin Saints.
The St. Martin Saints are undefeated and enjoying a banner season thus far, and 4th-year head coach Frank Cazzo, one of the big reasons why. Coach Cazzo, you're awfully experienced, but the same can be said for your team, and that has to explain a lot of the success so far this year.
Well, the kids are buying into what we're teaching them, and that's a great thing for us, and we're excited about this year, and we work hard every day.
A lot of lofty goals that you can attain this year, something that St. Martin's hasn't particularly enjoyed that level of success in quite some time. A chance to go undefeated perhaps in the regular season, win a district title. That hasn't happened here in a long time, and even perhaps win a playoff game. You experienced a loss last year in the first round. St. Martin's hasn't won a playoff game since 1992, but you've got a real shot to get all of those goals accomplished this year.
Well, you know, it's always the luck of the draw. When a bracket comes out, it's who you play. You can go 5 hours away and play somebody really tough. You know, and we're just looking to take one game at a time, and if we're undefeated, that's great. You know, everybody has the goal when they start the season to be undefeated, but our main goal is to win a playoff game this year and see what happens. You know, kids are playing with a tremendous amount of pride right now.
Coach, we at sportsNOLA will be watching the Saints every step of the way, and folks, we don't know if they're going to be able to climb all these hurdles and get the job done, but one thing's for certain, St. Martin's opponents know for sure that the Saints are coming. I'm Jude Young for sportsNOLAtv.
And our thanks to Jude Young for a job well done. The St. Martin Saints with an outstanding program this year under Frank Cazzo and a real good chance for a high seed and a chance to win that first playoff game in nearly 2 decades. Wow. Well, it's time now for the Marvin LeBlanc Marvelous Performance Systems Leadership Minute. Marvin LeBlanc is a motivational speaker and trainer who has helped the small business owners sell more, lead better, and enjoy life to its fullest. Here is Marvin LeBlanc from his Marvelous Performance Systems training programs with today's leadership advice.
Ken, thanks for that important message. Obviously, those St. Martin Episcopal Saints are off to some winning ways. Coach Cazzo really has it going on. So let's continue that theme and talk about winning ways. When we look at Sean Payton, what did he do? He went out and got the right people. He got the right nucleus, and he started with the right strategy. And so what I'd like to visit with you today just briefly is, what are you doing to make sure that you win in the marketplace as well? I have performance schools available whereby I can sit and talk, have a cup of coffee or a cup of gumbo about private meetings, private coaching, or keynote speeches that can help performance come back into your workplace. I'm Marvin LeBlanc, and I have a free download for you today. To learn more about me, go to marvinleblanc.com/TV. Remember, make marvelous happen.
Due to the LaCie Broadcasting Telethon this week, our local sports programming Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday will move up 1 hour and air from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Again, this week only, WHNO-TV sports programming on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday will air 1 hour earlier from 5 to 6 p.m. due to the LaCie Broadcasting Telethon. Make sure you have that note. When we return, still another segment left. We'll break down the Saints at the Carolina Panthers in another NFC South Divisional tussle coming up in Charlotte next weekend. That and more when Sports NOLA TV continues from Bergeron Motors in Metairie.
There's a family name in this business that means something. Bergeron. Ask your friends in Metairie, the North Shore, or on the West Bank. Then ask about a new Jeep Wrangler for $199 a month. Drive home a new Jeep Compass, 0 down at $269 per month. Or save $5,000 on a new Jeep Grand Cherokee, $5,000 off. So whether you call us Bergeron or Bergeron, we'll call you family. Bergeron Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, past Lakeside Mall on Veterans Memorial in Metairie.
Hi, I'm Dr. Joyce Brothers. Those of us who are independent and live alone shouldn't do so without having emergency protection. And for reliability and peace of mind, I recommend the Alert USA Emergency Response System.
With Alert USA, simply wear our pendant in and around your home. And if you ever fall or otherwise need assistance, just press the button to be connected to a specially trained operator who can summon help anytime, day or night.
I believe that in these tough times, Alert USA provides the best emergency support and value for your dollar.
Right now, for a limited time, get the Alert USA system for just 50 cents a day. You'll also get our free 911 emergency cell phone that'll protect you when you're away from home or in a blackout. A phone so advanced, it can even take your blood pressure. Plus, we'll include a free smoke detector with 24-hour monitoring. Only Alert USA protects you and your home no matter where you are.
For a free Alert USA brochure, call now at 1-800-831-7396. That's 1-800-831-7396.
Right behind me is the western wall, also called the Wailing Wall. You know, you can call it the prayer wall. From this wall goes up prayer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. But you know, there's another avenue for prayer that you can dial into right now, and that's Prayer Line. Call a number right now that's on the screen, and you can talk to a counselor who wants to pray with you, who wants to see miracles in your life. So call the number right now. Call Prayer Line. We're here. We're waiting for you. We want to pray for you right now.
Sports NOLA TV brought to you by Roly Poly, with 2 locations in the New Orleans area featuring local delivery and casual catering. Check out their menu at rolypoly.com. Live from Bergeron Motors on Veterans Boulevard in Metairie, 3525 Veterans, Ken Trahan, Torrance Small, Brian Ellie Walsh, Ricky Jackson. By the way, Ricky Jackson, along with Vaughn Johnson, speaking at a Christian Men's Outreach Breakfast coming up on October 21st. You'll want to be there at 7 in the morning at the Landmark Hotel in Metairie. You'll hear a good word, I am sure, from both Vaughn Johnson and Ricky Jackson, 2 good Christian gentlemen. All right, let's take a look at what's coming up. The Carolina Panthers hosting the Saints in Charlotte. Brian, who wins and why?
Oh, I like the Saints on the road. I think they'll move to, would be 4-1, and then set up the next road game at Tampa Bay. I mean, they're going to stop Cam Newton. I really do. I think.
You really believe that?
I really do. I think, now he may throw for 250, 300 yards, but I just think they're too much for, You know who's going to give them the most trouble is the two running backs. Okay, if I'm Ron Rivera, I turn and hand the ball to those guys a lot more than I throw the ball on Sunday.
Well, you try to shorten the game too, Ricky. That's another way to beat the Saints, is not to let them have the ball.
Well, I mean, I like the Saints.
Jacksonville didn't do that. That surprised me, Kenny. You know, Jacksonville, Blaine Gabbert throws 45 times. They're only down by 10 points.
And they were trailing the whole game.
Steal your time.
Enough already, Walsh. Let the man speak.
Like that. But I look at the Saints to win 35-21. I give the Saints an advantage. You know, they got more experience, and I like the Saints.
The Panthers have played everybody tough so far this year. They've been pretty impressive, frankly.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk, but I think we will come out victorious. And the reason why I think is because Sproles our MVP. Right now on the Saints team, he is the MVP. Nobody has an answer for him yet, and I don't think Carolina has an answer for him.
Yeah, I look at this game, and I really do like the Saints to win the game. I just think they're the better team, and they're a mature team. They don't have these letdowns that you see so frequently. I know they lost at Arizona last year to some quarterback you've never heard of, but by and large, this team does not have letdowns. They are prepared well. They're motivated, and I really think that loss on opening night actually motivated them further. I think this is a team that's on a mission. And my friend Jim Morris said it after the game when they lost that game. He said, the Saints are going to win the next 6. What are you guys worried about? Well, they're halfway there, having won the next 3. And obviously, I think they're going to make it 4, Brian. I think they win this game.
I agree totally. Can I give up my 30 seconds? Would these guys show their bling to the camera, please?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead. Seriously, go ahead.
Go ahead. Just go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Look at this.
This is the real.
That's the real deal.
It's no bigger than that.
Yeah, that's the Pro Football Hall of Fame ring right there.
It's no bigger than that.
I don't have that, man. I got the wife here. That's
I'm lucky to have the wedding ring, and I don't have it right now.
We got that, and we're very proud of that, too. So that's a good thing. So we all like the Saints to take care of the Panthers in this game. I do believe that they're going to take care of business and continue to move on and finish off the road trip with win-win-win, basically, and get themselves back in position to come home and play the Colts and have a chance to really get on a roll. Because the NFC, as we close it out, guys, clearly is all about beating the Packers at this point. The Lions are good, but I don't think they're that good yet.
No, I don't either. I mean, they're a surprise 4-0. And look, they're probably a wild card team if they continue to. But nothing's changed. It's Green Bay and New Orleans.
And the Eagles are not all that, Ricky.
Well, I say, get Drew Brees his money. Time to get his contract dead.
I hear you.
Always pushing for that.
I hear you. And Atlanta, not all that either.
No, Atlanta is not. They're not running the ball. They're becoming a passing team, and now they're seeing what's happening to them.
Ricky Jackson, a distinct pleasure, my friend. God bless you. Thank you for being here.
Appreciate it.
Brian Ellie Walsh, Jordan Small. Thank you. Want to thank you for watching, as always. Go to sportsNOLA.com for all of your sports information. We hope you will. And we want to remind you that this coming Saturday night, WHNO Sports presents Nicholls State Colonels football as the Colonels take on Central Arkansas. That's Nicholls State football this coming Saturday night, exclusively here on WHNO TV 20. That's going to do it for this week's edition of sportsNOLA TV. Now, this is Ken Trahan saying thank you for joining us, and be a good sport. God bless you one and all. We are rounding third and heading home. So long.